the summer of 1970, Kana, an 8-year-old girl from Tokyo, and her parents traveled to the small town of Aya in Miyazaki Prefecture to visit her grandparents. They had a small house and a large property, which Kana reveled in running around and exploring the lush green and overgrown countryside. Kana's parents had left her in the care of her grandparents as they tended to some commitments in the city of Miyazaki itself, which Kana didn't mind at all. She loved the freedom of being in the wide open spaces outdoors and would disappear for hours into the surrounding forest.
It was on the second day her parents were gone that Kana had her first unfortunate encounter with Hachisakusama, the 8-foot-tall lady. Kana was just inside the edge of the forest, heavily collecting rocks to take back her souvenir when she heard a disturbing sound.
Bo, 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 bo.
It whispered in a deep masculine voice.
Kana looked up toward the source of the sound and froze in fear when she saw a huge woman dressed in all white, with hair as black as a raven, a cold gray face with an unsettling smile, and huge head that cast a shadow all the way down her long 8-foot-tall frame. Kana and the woman looked eyes briefly as Kana tried to find her voice to call out, but she could barely breathe, let alone make a sound. Then the woman backed away and disappeared into the dark shadow of the forest behind her. Kana, struggling to get her leg to work properly, ran back to the farmhouse immediately and told her grandma what she had seen.
Once Kana's story had been properly relayed and the gravity of the situation set in, her grandma's demeanor quickly became deadly serious. She grabbed Kana by the arms and demanded to know exactly what she had seen and heard. As Kana explained, her grandma began to weep. The grandmother quickly relayed what had happened to her husband, who in shock rushed to the phone to try and contact Kana's parents. They were not at their hotel, so a message was left with the concierge. Kana, now scared and confused, asked,
"What's going on? Why does everyone seem to be in such a panic?"
Her grandfather sat down and stared deep into her eyes.
Listen closely, Kana. It seems you've been chosen by Hachisakusama, and unless we can protect you, she will adopt you like she did several other children in this area decades ago.
Kana was now in tears. What she had just been told terrified her, yet she couldn't help but want to know more.
Who is Hachisakusama?
Her grandfather went on to explain.
No one knows her origin. Only did this 8-foot woman's legs have picked him by quietly approaching them, then sending this sound. Before retreat, within a few days, that person will disappear. She was supposedly captured by some local monks who impersonated her in an old shrine by placing a Chico statue at north, south, east, and west points of the ruins. It appeared, however, that somehow Hachisakusama has escaped.
Kana was then taken into the most secure room in the house. The windows were boarded up and small balls of pure salt were placed in each corner of the room.
You must not leave this room, not under any circumstances.
Her grandmother strictly instructed.
Never?
Not until your parents return to take you home.
Then I'll be safe?
Yes. Then you'll be safe. However, you can never ever return to Miyazaki.
Kana began to cry, so grandmother left the room.
Don't leave me.
Her grandma explained that she couldn't stay within the room. and afford Kana to be sure to lock the door once it was closed.
Night fell over the countryside, and Kana, alone and cold in the dimly lit room, sobbed, quietly wondering when her parents would return to take her home. Several hours into the cold night, she heard her grandfather call out to her.
Kana, are you okay? If you're scared, I can come in to keep you company. You don't have to be all alone. Open the door.
Kana leapt up and moved over the door to unlock it, but then was overcome with an icy chill as she approached it and realized that something was wrong. Her grandfather's voice was somehow different.
Open up. It's safe now.
Kana looked at her side, and she could see that salt in the bowl slowly turning black as she heard the sound emanating from the other side of the door. She backed away into the center of the room and cried uncontrollably for the rest of the night.
Morning eventually arrived, and so did Kana's parents, who quickly took her into their arms and into their car. They exited Miyazaki immediately, sadly never to return.